What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Pop Culture Geekly. We're taking a look at all the pop culture news, including a visit from our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and John Goodman's a creep. So, it's me, Corey, as usual, along with...
This is me, Nick.
Oh, man, Nick's a good friend. Look at him right over there.
Oh, God.
He hates it. So we're going to start off like we usually do, because Nick's got a little message for you. It might be a fucking PSA time.
Maybe a little bit. So we've been running Plastic Tombstone for almost a year now.
Oh, God, has it been that long?
Fairly frequently. We've successfully had a video come out every week, sometimes multiple each week.
Whoa.
So it took a long time to get used to the grind and the work and all that stuff. But since I recently changed jobs, things have stalled a little bit. Not necessarily stopped, but it's a little harder to get everybody together and all this other stuff. So,
But that's all right, because we're always here for you with this podcast that no one listens to.
But again, that comes to my point, like where we appreciate the people who watch and all that other stuff, but it's not the reason we do it.
We do it to have fun.
It's definitely not the reason I continue to do it, because I don't want to feel like I have to.
Right.
I want to feel like I'm doing it for fun, and it's been stressful to try to get everybody together and get everything out and be punctual with videos. And you know what? I just decided that I wanted to kind of do it on my own terms and release stuff that I want to do, and hopefully that translates a little better than
I feel like
something
you're like
I have to do.
I feel like you're a cop that's about to get off the force. You're like, I'm doing this on my own terms. This is my last last rodeo.
I mean, it's kind of that way, because I mean, I'm glad people listen and all that, but it was getting to the point where, again, it's hard to keep up with a 40-hour-a-week job plus all the other things in my life that I want to do.
It's true. But at least I think with the podcast, we should be able to do that weekly, right?
Oh,
super easy.
Again,
it's much easier to deal with than having to cut a bunch of videos together and.
But we are still going to release a podcast every week. I'm gonna shoot for a video every
week. But
it's trying to put out a video every day is a lot. And
were we doing it every day? Because if we were, I feel real bad for
I mean,
you,
it was my original plan, but it's just hard.
Yeah.
So they'll come out as they come out, and I'm kind of throwing the schedule out the door.
Fuck the schedule.
So it's just good. Things are gonna come out as I finish them, and
you're like the schedule's like your chief, and you're a loose cannon.
Yeah, it's like
you might be Martin Riggs.
I was gonna say I'm Martin Riggs, and I'm just like, listen, Captain, I do things my own way. Solve these crimes. Somebody kill my wife.
Does that mean that I have to sit by this off to the side and be like, I'm too old for this shit?
But it doesn't work because you're younger than me. So.
Well, fuck it.
You just say I'm not old enough for this shit. I want to do fun.
I'm not old enough for this shit. I don't want to be a normal. I want to be a kid forever. I don't want to grow up. Fucking Toys R Us style.
Basically, instead of having scheduled videos that are coming out, it's just going to be like sometime this week.
Wednesday, maybe. Thursday?
Maybe.
Who knows?
But we definitely have some Far Cry Easter egg videos coming out this week. So.
Oh, that's right. Those are fun.
Those are fun. So look for those. And we've been playing The Division, so we're going to get some Easter eggs and stuff in that soon, too.
That'll be fun.
Starting with video game news?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, quick video game news here. Let's see. General Rom, is that his name? General Ram? Anyway, the big bad from Gears of War, original.
I thought for the longest time, because it's all capitalized, I thought it was just like it was supposed to mean like RAAM. I thought it meant something, but they never said it.
Yeah, it's probably
because it's weird, right? Like he's
the
the only person whose name is all caps. Maybe they're yelling his name, General Rom.
But he is apparently the next fighter in Killer Instinct Season 3.
So it's gonna be the Arbiter versus General Rom,
versus
Rash
from
Battletoads. That'd be fun.
So that's pretty cool.
Do you think he'll have moves like he uses all of the other Locust moves? Like he'll have a boomer.
I hope so. That would be cool.
Would be cool, right?
He probably shoots Krill one move, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I hope he kind of pulls out a fucking Lancer with a chainsaw on it. Do they have like fatalities in Killer Instinct? I've never played it.
They don't. I don't think.
Oh, sad. I know they wouldn't be called fatalities, but, you know, whatever.
So next, because of March Madness is coming up, Rocket League is releasing a basketball-themed map.
Oh,
So
how is that going to work?
I think it's a tube in the top. I don't think it's a hoop, but I think the goal is up on the wall,
Oh, okay.
which seems impossible.
Seems really hard.
Yeah.
Do you remember that never-ending game we played? This would be longer, I
It
feel
will
like.
probably be longer than that. And let's see, the Doom multiplayer trailer came out this week. For the
Oh,
multiplayer.
yeah, man. It looks like Halo on fucking steroids.
It looks like Unreal Tournament.
No, you know what it looks like? It looks like Halo ran over some of those pills, and then they're fast.
So yeah, you should check it out. The official multiplayer trailer looks pretty cool. Looks like Corey said, super fast.
Which is good. I mean, because sometimes I feel like with a lot of shooters, it's a little slow sometimes.
Yeah, even Call of Duty, which is considered fast.
Well, the thing with Call of Duty is like, you can play it super fast. You just have to turn your sensitivity way up.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess your body
but
doesn't move.
This didn't look like that.
Yeah.
This
It
looked
like everything
everybody was sprinting at all times and jumping really high, and I don't know. It looked super cool. Doom was on my radar in sort of a way, but not as much as it is.
And now you get to play as a goddamn demon.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
So that's Juggernaut style, right?
Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Because he killed him and then.
Which seems, I mean, and they actually like did animations for the kills, which is cool. As
Yeah.
opposed to it just being like, oh, you killed him, now you're him. Like there's an actual, like you take them down and then you become them.
Yes.
Which
So,
is
looks pretty awesome. I'm actually fairly excited about Doom now. Okay, so this is pretty much for Corey. There's a playable Quidditch map in Halo 5.
What?
Yes. I'm going to show you a little bit of this video right now.
Do you get to play as, or is Harry Potter in Halo now?
I don't think Harry Potter's in Halo
Damn
now.
it. You can't Avada Kedavra everyone?
But it looks like, they built the arena and stands, and it looks like.
So how do you score?
I don't know.
Is it like Griffball, sort of, maybe? Or is it just... It looks like fucking chaos, though.
Yeah. Well, let's zoom it in now. Let's have a look. I'm not really sure. It's got to be kind of like Griffball, right?
Surely.
I don't know.
I mean, watching this video, there's gravity hammers everywhere, so... Yeah, it's okay, it's Griffball. Because look, he's got it, and now he's going to throw it through the hoop. Oh my God, this is everything I've ever wanted. I need Halo 5 now.
It's pretty awesome, right?
Yes.
So let me get the info on this.
It's all I've ever wanted.
So this map was made by Halo 4
Halo Forge user XX Huggabear XX.
Create a custom. It's a custom Griffball level in the game mode emulated, but it involves flying on broomsticks across a field and throwing balls through the opposing team's hoops.
That is so cool.
It is awesome too. It looks pretty cool. I'll put an image of it up.
XX Huggabear XX. We should be friends because you created a fucking Harry Potter level in Halo. So you've merged two things that I love, which means friendship.
It's true.
Should we build a bridge to friendship with Huggabear?
We should.
Also, just like saying his name, Huggabear.
I'll probably put his name in the tags.
Do it.
People
will be like, "Hey, these guys talked about Huggabear." You know who the only person they talk about more is TJ Miller.
Oh, God.
Shout out.
Shout out to TJ Miller. And that's aside from the fact that me and Corey have been playing a lot of Division this week.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What are your first impressions on where we're at? We're both about level 11.
Yeah. About to roll over to 12.
We haven't entered the dark zone because, well, let's face it, we'd probably get our asses kicked, and we just wanted to finish the story first, I think.
Yeah. I'm having fun with it.
I'm loving it. I get to be a sniper and combat medic, so I'm into it.
Yeah.
Any game where I can snipe and just be a good teammate. Because you know me, Nick. I like to be a good friend.
Yeah, and you know me. I run into the heart of battle and die all the time.
And you're like, God damn it, Corey. And I'm like, hold on, let me kite this guy for a year.
I'm a fucking tank. That's what I try to do.
I know.
I get in there and drop the DPS. You cover me from a distance. It works.
It works out well.
Yeah. Sometimes I die, but
we've done some pretty cool little tactics that have worked out. The suppression.
Oh, man. Yeah, the turret suppression where I snuck around.
You snuck around and started shooting him, then he turned to you, and then I took his head off.
It was awesome, man. So
it's a lot of fun.
If you're going to play by yourself, you get the turret.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop that tip for anybody.
Suggest, if you're gonna definitely
turret
go tech
health
route.
Well, no, if you have turret health, you'll be fine.
That's probably true.
Because the turret suppresses them, and you can flank them, and they'll like just stare at that turret and get shot in the face.
I'm kind of curious whenever you get your like signature move, if that takes up all your other moves, or if you have 3 then.
I don't know. There looks like to be one in the middle. It's probably
so it's probably
it's probably like Destiny, where you press them both at the same time.
Wait a minute, don't say that. Don't compare it to Destiny. It's nothing like Destiny.
How is it? It's ridiculous.
Nothing like Destiny. I don't know if you can tell that I'm being a little sarcastic, but
it's so much like Destiny, aside from the fact you can't jump or crouch.
You know what though? The one thing that it doesn't have that Destiny has that I actually really enjoy, the raid. I do like raiding whenever I can find people to do it with.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean they're definitely 2 different animals, but they probably have taken a lot from each other.
Yeah, well, I mean,
one more from the other probably.
I mean, it's really it comes down to it's just basic MMO.
Yeah,
if you really think about it, it's just.
But it's the color scheme and it's the breaking things down.
Really, the color schemes, I think those are more like Borderlands, right? I mean, Destiny,
what were Borderlands colors?
Borderlands were those exact green, blue, purple, gold, or orange. And it's not really.
It's true. I guess it is. I guess they kind of.
So I mean, it's just loot level colors, and that's. I mean, it's been that in MMOs forever. So.
Yeah, so.
It's just basic MMO. I think they took a lot from Destiny because Destiny was the first person. Well, not first person, but you know what I mean. Like, especially for a console.
Hopefully, there's an expansion for walking the city.
Some kind of fucking dirt bike or something. Because God. It takes a year and a half to walk anywhere.
You know what I want?
What's that?
Deployable hoverboard. You know those ones?
Oh my God! Back to the Future style?
No, like the ones that they have out now where you just lean forward.
Oh,
the mini segways.
What about segways? What if we just had straight up segways? Can I dress as Paul Blart Mall Cop?
What a piece of shit movie that
was. You heard his feelings on that, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I think about Paul Blart Mall Cop?
What's that?
Piece of shit.
Oh man, I was asking, so it worked out.
Okay, so my last bit of video game news is Frogware is apparently making an open world Lovecraft game, RPG style.
Well, they did a good job with. I've been playing that Crimes and Punishment. They
did the Sherlock Holmes game. Yeah,
I've been playing that. It's actually pretty fun. It plays more like a kind of like a Telltale. It's not really.
Yeah, you just kind of point and click.
But it's fun. I mean, it's cool because you get to be like detective, and you actually have to like put the clues together and figure out who did what. And if you're wrong, then there's no. I mean, you can go back and replay it. I guess they made it so that you didn't have to get the wrong conclusion, but it's kind of cool because you get a bunch of different endings and stuff. So,
but yeah, it's apparently Guillermo del Toro was originally going to make an H.P. Lovecraft game set in the world, but he kind of put it on the shelf so we could make Pacific Rim, which I'm happy for because Pacific Rim is awesome. And it just sat there forever, and somebody finally picked it up, and that's pretty much all we have about it. But
except there's a lot of creepy flooding going on.
There's a lot of creepy flooding in the screenshots.
People are very excited about floods.
It looks pretty cool. There's a guy shooting Cthulhu in the face.
Oh my God!
With a Tommy gun. So
with a Tommy gun.
Yep.
Do you think Sherlock Holmes will make an appearance in this game? He'll be trying to catch Jack the Ripper, and then all of a sudden Cthulhu shows up out of nowhere, and it's like, what's happening?
But it's called The Sinking City, and apparently they're bringing it a demo to the Game Developers Conference, whenever that is.
That's pretty exciting. Do you think that they'll use The Thing That Should Not Be by Metallica as the theme song for it?
Probably.
Or For Whom the Bell Tolls. Another Lovecraft song.
But anyway, that's
Lovecraft-inspired song.
That's pretty cool news, and once we find out more about it, we'll let you know.
We will let you know.
All right,
you'll be like, we already know because of the internet, but we'll be like, fuck you, because this is what we do.
So I got a bit of nerd news.
News?
Yeah, this is just random. It's
random nerd news. It's news about nerds. That's our theme song.
That's the worst. All our theme song sounds like Mouse Rat songs.
Well, we're all Parks and Rec fans. It's fun.
But so apparently on the new Turtles cartoon, the one that's on Nickelodeon,
they're going to have the old Turtles.
The old 80s Turtles are going to be on there with the original voices.
Yeah, all 4 of them. They're there.
So there's going to be the animated 80s Turtles with the new Turtles who are animated, and then they go to the 3D world, and the new turtles are 3D, and the old turtles are 3D.
And they got to get back in time.
That's all I really know about it. They're going to defeat Krang in both of them, both the worlds. So
don't they always? They always beat Krang.
They always beat Krang.
Krang never has a chance. Stands a chance.
He doesn't. He's just a brain in a body. But that's pretty cool news, especially the fact they got the original actors to play the voices.
That is really neat. Kind of wish that the original Turtles. I wish that they still made the original Turtles movies. Like they just dressed up in bodysuits. That's where I wish it was at.
I mean, hopefully someday we'll get back to
because like
that.
those were practical effects that still worked, right? Like you go back and watch those movies, they still look all right. I mean,
Yeah, well, they're not very mobile.
well, I understand, I know, but I guess it's just like that's what I grew up with, Turtles wise. So
Yeah. So we had a shitload of trailers come out this week.
how many are a shitload?
Like
Like 7,000.
There's at least 4 or 5 trailers we're probably going to talk about here in the next few.
Like that Civil War trailer.
You want to get into that? Civil
Maybe
War?
we should hold that. Should we hold that? Internet. Respond to us. Hit us up on Twitter. No one's listening, but that's all right. We're not live, so it would not work.
I'm just going to breeze through this real quick because I know I'm the only one out of me and Corey who cares. But
is it Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones Season 6 trailer dropped this
oh my
week.
god! And it looked like there was going to be a lot of political intrigue. And
There's going to be a lot of
somebody
political
was going to
intrigue.
show their boobs a lot again, and dragons.
Yep.
That's what I get out of Game of Thrones. And there's Tyrion, who's cool.
He's cool. He's in Marine, I think.
He's in a woman named Marine.
No, he's in Marine, the city, holding it down because Daenerys has been captured by the Dothraki again.
Oh my god, Dothraki are fucking dickheads. That's what I can
They're
tell you.
fucking, they're assholes. That's true.
You know, well, their leader fucking went to become Aquaman, so.
Yeah, it's all right. He was also Conan the Barbarian, so we'll forgive him for that.
Did you watch that movie, by the way?
It was
Not great, right?
no.
I mean, like, he's good. I mean, he's all right, but it's just
There's a
like,
moment in that movie that's hard to watch when
oh.
he pushes his finger through the guy's ripped nose hole.
Oh, yeah.
That is difficult to watch.
It's pretty rough.
I'm like, oh. At the beginning, he bit it off, right? Or sliced it
yeah,
off.
yeah. I don't remember.
So
yeah,
he finds the guy again when he's an adult, and he takes his little nose guard off, and he just very slowly puts his thumb. It hurts to watch.
It hurts me just you talking about
Yeah,
it.
it's fucking gross. But other than that, it was just
Jon Snow might be alive.
Conan
Or
randomly
something.
fighting snow people. Jon Snow. Well, everybody's. It's words. It's words. Everybody says Jon Snow. I'm using quotation fingers right now. Jon Snow is dead, but that doesn't mean Kit Harington's not on the show
That's true.
because he's going to get resurrected as somebody else. Because in this season, they're doing a lot of flashback stuff, like old Ned and stuff. And they're going to go to the tower.
Neddard or Eddard or whatever.
Eddard Stark.
Terrible name. Terrible name.
Eddard Stark's terrible. That's why he goes by Ned.
I mean, he was like, oh, look, we're cutting that. It's like, George R. R. Martin, you wrote it, but we're cutting it.
But the theory is they're going to show a flashback sequence during Robert's Rebellion. This will make sense to anybody who listens.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Anyway, during Robert's Rebellion, they climbed a tower.
There's a tower.
I didn't read the books, but there's a
Do they have
tower.
to defend it? Tower defense game.
No. Anyway, there's a tower, and that's where people think Jon Snow was born because they don't believe Ned's actually the father. They believe Jon Snow's a Targaryen. That's what everybody
he's a
believes.
Targaryen and like he's something.
He's
God.
well, they tried to kill all
He's
the
a god.
Targaryens.
He's a god, and dragons belong to him. Really,
No,
he's the father of all dragons.
there you go. He's the father of all dragons.
He actually can become a dragon. He just hasn't learned yet, Liu Kang style.
But anyway,
remember Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Kit Harington claims he's only back as a dead body, but they sure as shit showed him a lot in that trailer.
They showed him a lot.
They showed his dead body like about 7 times.
They're like, remember when he died? Because guess what? He's
It's
dead.
almost like they're shoving it. Like, see, he's dead. See, look, he's right there. He's dead.
Right there. He's
right there.
dead.
He's
This
dead.
is all from just episode 1, but that's
Right there. He's dead. But yeah, they show what's his name trying to take him and fighting all the Night's Watch guards to get his body out of there. So something's up with it because if he was just dead, what does it matter?
That's true.
So he'll be back in some capacity.
My thing is like that they could. What I was saying, they could pull that footage of him being dead from one episode, the first episode, and be like, he's dead. He's dead. See, he's dead because we sprinkled it throughout the trailer. Even at the end, he was still dead. It's like, well, yeah, but
Remember when J.J. Abrams said Benedict Cumberbatch was not Khan? He's not Khan, guys. He's not Khan. Guys, he's not Khan.
Hey, guess what?
And
He's
then
Khan.
And when he was Khan, everybody's like, Why the fuck did you just say it 1,000 times and he wasn't? Just tell us. We can handle it.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants it to be a surprise, but guess what? It's probably not going to be a surprise. Anyway.
I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was good as Khan, but anyway.
Well, yeah, but it was the fact that people were like,
there were like a lot of people that were upset. They were like, that guy that originally played him, I can't remember his name. They're like, man, he was so good as him. Who could ever? It was like, you go back and watch it, it's like, was he that good? Ricardo Montalban, that's his name. It came to me. And but people fucking loved him. And I'm like,
well, people can't let go. We talked about that last week with Ghostbusters. And I want to clear the air a little bit about our Ghostbusters.
Because we've had more Ghostbusters trailers come out, and guess what? They were worse.
Yeah. We read a lot about how if you dislike the Ghostbusters trailer, you're holding too much on to the nostalgia of the first, and you're not letting things grow. Also, you might hate women. And
is that?
It's not true. I don't feel that way at all.
I don't want to get political or anything about it, but is it like if it was 4 dudes and that roles were originally by women, like it's bad because they were originally women and now men are taking over the role. But now that women are taking over the role and it was originally men, just because somebody doesn't like it, they're like, you're fucking sexist because you don't like it. And it's like, what? How do we win? Like,
and I feel like last week I was like, I like Bridesmaid. I thought Bridesmaid was good,
and I loved Spy, and it's the director who did both of them.
So I have no problem with women being comedy people
and
at all.
I'm not like, oh, rah rah, Melissa McCarthy, but I think in Bridesmaids and in Spy she was awesome.
Yeah,
I love her in those movies, and I love Kristen Wiig generally. Kate McKinnon's great. Leslie Jones, she just plays herself all the time, but whatever. I mean, if that's your thing.
She does her thing.
For the most part, though, I like all those people. That movie looks like it has no charisma. It's just like, hey, you guys, play those characters that you always play and don't be funny.
We're going to put a Ghostbusters skin on it.
Also, we're going to get a really hunky, and I put that in quotations, dude, who's being objectified, but since it's a guy, it's fine. I mean, I don't know. It's just... It's so hard to watch any of those trailers and be like, yeah, this is good. And it's just...
I don't know. If they would have called it something else, I think I would have been okay with it.
But could they have called it something else? Because it's just Ghostbusters. Then we would have been like, this is Ghostbusters, but with a different name.
Yeah.
And been like, it's not as good, though. It's either way, they're fucked, I guess.
Yeah.
At least this way they get name brand recognition.
But, so, in our defense, we don't hate women.
We don't hate women, guys. As a matter of fact, I love women.
I'm living with one right now. It's pretty awesome. I'm a fan of it. But yeah, I just don't like it because I didn't think it looked funny.
I don't, and it's not like people are going to be like, oh, you just don't think women are funny. I think a lot of women are funny. Tina Fey is one of my favorite people of all time.
I've seen all of 30 Rock through probably 4 or 5 times. The entire series.
Awesome.
Parks and Rec. Good.
I mean, Aubrey Plaza. I mean, there's tons of them, and I love Sarah Silverman. I love a ton of female comedians. Just because I don't find a woman funny in one role, shouldn't be like, you fucking hate women in comedy. They're not funny to you. I'm like, no, that's just, I don't like that one thing. It would be no different than if I was like, man, I love TJ Miller, bringing it back to TJ, and I'm like, but that one role he didn't know. Well, you don't like dudes in comedy. No, that's not true. Yeah. It's like.
So speaking of Sarah Silverman, she was in a trailer we saw that we loved.
Oh, you're talking about Popstar?
Popstar by the
Never Stop, Never Stop. Or wait, Stop. What is it? Fuck.
Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Never Stopping. That's it. I couldn't fucking get it out.
So it's a Lonely Island movie
that people hate.
People apparently hate it so much, and we talked about it. We don't understand why.
I think it's Nick, you and I have thought this, that people just don't get them, right? Like they don't get their sense of
Hot
humor.
Rod was one of the funniest movies I've seen, but it's weird.
It's so bizarre, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's just random and kind of just, I don't know. It's self-aware, which a lot of comedies aren't.
I wonder if people don't like this one because I don't know. He's basically Kanye, right?
Yeah.
He's just
he's just an arrogant pop star.
Arrogant pop star.
He's
sure.
Justin Bieber. He's whatever. You
but
know?
Like, really, it's like it's Kanye. Right? It's gotta be right because he's just like, I'm fucking God's gift.
It's an Adam Levine hologram. So expensive. He got so many people to be in that movie.
He did, and it.
Well, they got so many people to be in that movie. But yeah,
I think it looks hilarious.
Is Hot Rod a little like Deadpool?
What do you mean?
Like self-aware of itself and that it's kind of weird and it's kind of like, remember the Cool Beans part? It was just kind of randomly out of nowhere, and then like,
Well,
I don't know.
mean,
in a sense that it didn't take itself so seriously like some comedies do. Like Ghostbusters, they're trying to be like this straight up ghost-busting comedy, but no wink and nod to the camera. Like, yeah, this is goofy, but what the fuck ever? It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to gauge comedy, like, because comedy is so subjective.
Yeah.
You know, certain things speak to certain people, and it's like,
well, certain things make people laugh. It's like music.
Yeah,
it's like you can't. I think if you like something, you can't explain why you like it. You should just like it, especially music and comedy. Like something makes you laugh, you shouldn't be able to go like, well, it made me laugh because of this. It just made you laugh because you thought it was funny. And that's just like
there's so many like people that are like widely accepted as like, oh, this person is funny or this person is a great singer, and it's like, to me, no, I don't get it. And then it's like, ostracized, fuck you, never say that. It's like, why? It just doesn't work for me. It's fine. I'm not. It's only a problem whenever I'm shoving my opinion down your face. Be like, no, you're wrong. This person is not funny. They can't sing. Their music sucks.
Well, you don't do that when you get older.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You just stop doing that. When you're younger, you're just like, no, you're wrong. I'm right.
Or if you're a hipster.
Or if you're a hipster, you always do
You only like comedians for about their first joke, and then you're like, oh, so old hat. Fucking sell out.
It's sell a piece of shit.
Oh, God, such a hack.
But Popstar looks good. We're going to probably go see that one for sure.
I think so. We might do a whole spoiler cat. No, that's probably not necessary, but...
So let's get into the meat. Let's get into the meat of this. We got two big topics to talk about. That's probably going to take the rest of our time.
Well, the first topic, let's go ahead and do it.
Civil War.
Spidey's back.
Spider-Man's back in Civil War trailer.
And Marvel's got a hold of him.
I liked that trailer a lot. I'm more excited. I know you're not the Marvel guy.
Well, I don't know. It's just like, it's like, oh, cool. They're fighting each other. Great. I don't know why, because I love that Batman and Superman are going to fight each other.
Yeah. Well, it's different. It's different branding.
Same thing. It's like, oh, that just doesn't, like, if it was comedian, it doesn't work for me. It's just with Marvel, it's like, I don't have enough invested into any of those characters.
Well, I feel like they've been building that story since Captain America 1.
Yeah.
With Winter Soldier, Bucky falling, and then all of a sudden, spoiler alert for Captain America 1 came out like 7 years ago. So sorry if I ruined that for you.
I think it was longer than 7 years at this point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was like 10 years.
But then Avengers 1, Tony and Cap are kind of fighting.
Well, they're always bickering.
Yeah.
They have their.
But even Avengers.
Cap is a stand-up American, fucking. We can do it. Everybody as a team, and Iron Man's like, "Oh man, I'm awesome by myself."
But this movie feels to me like the Avengers 3. It doesn't feel like Captain America movie.
I think that's
it's the end of the Captain America trilogy.
Well, it's also because I think they said with the next Avengers movie, it's going to be like a whole new cast of Avengers, right? They're going to pull new characters in, and I mean, there might be one or two of the old ones, but
yeah, probably. It's hard to say what they're actually going to do. They'll probably use Infinity Wars to kill off a couple of them.
Yeah, so. I'm sure
Well, I mean,
kill off in the comic book world is they're dead, sort of.
Yeah, well, somebody takes over their mantle or whatever. But I don't know. They kind of fought. They kind of had a little mini civil war in Avengers: Age of Ultron when they were trying to start Vision. One guy said no, and one group said yes, and so they had a little scuffle.
Yeah.
So it kind of started there. But
my favorite part of Age of Ultron is, let's see who can chop wood better.
What was that? What are you talking about?
That's that fucking scene at Hawkeye's farmhouse, where they're like, he's outside chopping wood, Captain America is, and they're having an argument out there, him and fucking Tony Stark. You know what I'm talking about? You don't remember this?
I don't remember that. Let's see who can chop wood better.
It's not really that, but that's just, I was like, oh god, it was so, I don't know, just to me it was like there's always tension between them, so it seems like everything they do is like, yeah, well, I can chop wood better than you. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. But it's finally coming to a head. Apparently that scene where they're fighting, the big clash at the end, apparently that scene's like 15 minutes long. Apparently, there's a big battle scene between all the characters.
Black Panther isn't on anyone's side, right?
He's on Tony Stark's side.
Well, see, I heard that he was like kind of flip floppy. He doesn't really pick.
He
a
might
side,
be.
but-
He's very. It's very vague. But there was a very cool moment where Ant-Man was riding Hawkeye's arrow.
That's true.
That was pretty awesome.
That came straight from a comic book cover too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But then I'm like, I think back and I'm like, well, technically Green Arrow and the Atom did that first.
Yeah, they all.
I know, but it's just like, it's one of those things where when you come from that mindset of, and I don't hate Marvel. I just like DC and Marvel. I'm just like, yeah, but DC did most of these characters first.
It's like a man who's a bat and then a man who's a spider. It's Superman, Captain America, kind of the same thing.
Right.
It's
Technically,
just,
Superman was out 3 years before Captain
I don't care.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. There'll always be lines dividing everything.
It's just the way it is. I mean, it's just, to me, like I said, it's character-wise, I just like the DC characters better. I feel more connected to them, except for the part that it actually gave me chills because I knew it was coming. They've been talking about it for a month now that the next Civil War trailer was going to have Spider-Man in it. And then
There he was.
at the end. Tony Stark says, "I'm tired of this, Underoos," and you hear the of the web, and
then he's holding Captain America's shield.
He takes the shield and he looks up and his eyes close, which I think is a really cool effect.
Yeah,
And I'm glad they did that because that's what I mean in the comics. His eyes always did that. So,
but there's no practical reason for him to do that. That's just comic-y.
true.
But so hopefully they'll try to like say, oh,
explain it. Like,
Tony Stark gave
me fucking eye movements, or so, yeah.
or just some sort of vision, so he could see. I don't know.
But a lot of people are talking about his costume.
I'm fine with it. It's pretty bright.
It's super bright, and it looks almost like, compared to the other ones, because they're all kind of darker tones for the most part. His seems like neon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because Cap's is all like dark, hushed blues, and then Iron Man's is, in his own standalone movies, they usually seem more bright than they do in the Avengers. Like all the Avengers movies, his costumes are kind of like toned down, and then in this one, it's like everybody's wearing black or this toned down colors, and then it's like Spider-Man's like, I'm a neon red, and it looks super. I don't know. It looks kind of super CG, right? Like, I know that they've done the practical ones before, so that's maybe why they did it.
Yeah, they had to differentiate themselves a little bit from the Spider-Mans of the past.
Like Andrew Garfield. There he is right there, Andrew Garfield. Oof.
But I mean, it's cool. It's very traditional Spider-Man costume.
It is, and I like that because...
And I can see a little bit of shading. I think it's just because it's so much...
Right.
Like, it's so much red that you don't really see the little textures, but in this picture, you can kind of...
Are we going to see the kid they got to play the next
Yeah.
Spider-Man? Is he going to actually be in Civil
He
War?
should be in it, yeah.
Without his mask or something? Like all the other Spider-Men are like, oh my God, are you in trouble? Let me show you that I'm Peter Parker.
Well, the thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is different from the comics, is nobody hides who they are.
That's true.
Tony Stark is Iron Man. Captain America is
Steve
Rogers, and nobody's like, who are you?
What if the Hulk was fighting? He was like, I am Bruce Banner.
Like nobody's hiding. So I'm glad they
because
did
they like
the
to
way,
put everyone they know at risk all the time.
well, I don't know. It's a little harder to do that.
It's funny because you never see Batman in any comic or movie being like, it's okay, it's me, Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. I mean, granted, Superman, it's like he put on glasses. We get it. It's
what? Yeah, at least in the new Batman Superman, it makes sense that they don't know it's Ben Affleck because he has a little voice modulator.
Yeah.
But at least Christian Bale changes. What about Michael Keaton? He was just like
he whispered a little bit. He whispered.
guys.
Guys, it's
Hey, Vicky Vale, I just talked to you 10 minutes ago, and now I'm going to talk to you.
It's me, Bruce Wayne. I'm Batman.
Hey, Vicky Vale, I talked to you 10 minutes ago, and now I'm going to rescue you as Batman. You're not going to know.
You'll never know.
Corey, if you walked in here with it, like, if I was like out, you left, I'll see you guys later, and then a burglar busts into my door, and all of a sudden you come in, or somebody comes in, Core Man,
Core man.
Core Train comes in. He's dressed like a locomotive, but he's just
Do I
talking
have
to
a
me.
Thomas the Tank Engine mask on?
You do. Your mouth still moves though. And you were just like, "Hey guys, I'll help you out." I'm
If I was like,
Corey?
No, if I had to whisper it, I'd be like, "Hey guys, don't worry, it's me. I'm here to help."
I was like, "Corey, why are you helping? When did you become the Core Train?" I don't know. My favorite thing on that was in Green Lantern, which was probably the only good thing about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Look,
Was
I'm
she was
gonna
like,
defend that fucking director's cut till the day I die. If you watch the director's cut of that movie, it is so much better than the.
I'll watch
the
the
original.
director's cut. I haven't watched it yet.
It's so good compared to the original because they cut out I'm not even kidding 40 minutes of story from the movie, so you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And don't get me wrong, Parallax, he's a cool character in the comics, but the way they did him, he's just a cloud or whatever. And then
Well, that's what they did in not Silver Surfer, Rise of Silver Surfer. Galactus was just a cloud instead of a big dude.
It's just, but it's because when Green Lantern, Hal Jordan eventually fuses with Parallax, and he becomes the Spectre, which is a fucking another cool character, and you could see they were trying to build towards that. They used the Jeff Johns story, the Rebirth story, and it's just it's a good story. It's just fucking shittily done in that movie because they did over CG it. They gave it to a guy who's never done a comic book movie, has no idea what comic books are about. It's just throw a lot of CG at it. That'll be good. It's just, I don't know. And I liked Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. I thought he was fine. People shit on it because it was but it's hard. Think of how hard it is to do Green Lantern.
Yeah.
He's a guy who has a ring who can imagine something and it happens.
Why does he Why does he always imagine fists?
Fists because it's the easiest thing. He's not that bright.
I'm gonna say something about that movie. It felt a little scattered to me, which is probably
that's what I'm saying.
But it was also, I hated the race car thing.
But that's what he does in the comics.
I know, but he
does that kind of shit where it's just what's something that could catch this or do this? Got it in my head, make it. That's it.
Yeah, it was just that part was just a little goofy for me. But I didn't hate the movie. It wasn't great.
Right.
It definitely could have been. Had a little more explanation on what was going on.
I'm telling you, you watch the director's cut, you'll change your mind at least a little bit about it. You'll be like, you know what, that wasn't as bad as.
Again, I didn't hate it.
You also only saw the theatrical cut, right? You never saw the
Yeah, I saw it in the
director's
theater,
cut.
and I don't think I ever watched it after that.
Yeah, so it's
because I was
and I thought Mark, what's his face? Oh my god, what's his name? The guy that played Mark Strong, that played Sinestro. He was awesome, and they even show him get. Oh, they show him get the yellow ring at the end where he's becoming part of the Sinestro Corps. Super awesome. And then we never got to see any of it, and it made me so sad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
back to
what
Civil
happened?
War.
I forgot what we were talking about because I got angry because I love Green Lantern. And I want to see him done well.
It'll happen. Right? It worked out because Ryan Reynolds got to be Deadpool, and
I know, but it makes me sad that Ryan Reynolds feels like he has to shit on that Green Lantern movie because I'm like. It wasn't.
I don't know if he shit on it
because
the costume wasn't great.
Tell me this though. Tell me this. If you had to, between these two movies, Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds or Batman and Robin with George Clooney, which one do you watch for the rest of your life? If you have to watch it once a day for the rest of your life, I'd take Green Lantern. If I get
probably, but I might take Batman and Robin because of Comedy Gold. That's such a good movie.
Is it good, bad, or is it just this is fucking terrible? Stop. He has a Bat credit card. Why?
Again,
just do some traces. You'll find out it's Bruce Wayne.
Again, minus if they had done the suit,
nice to see you. Come on, the puns. They're so bad.
If they would have done the suit differently, I think people would have felt differently about it. But the suit felt. I don't know. The suit felt bad to me. The suit felt out of place.
All of those, not
CG suits.
It's not CG. It's just it's super rubber and so they add all that extra cut and definition into it, and it just looks, and it looked so Who is the guy? Joel Schumacher? Is that? Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's the guy who made him. All right.
I was wondering what you were going. So you're just saying Batman and Robin. I thought you were talking about all superheroes. Like, there's a lot of superhero costumes that are done right, but you're just going.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he went from the darker Tim Burton version to like, hey, you know what people liked? The 60s Adam West version. That's what I need to bring back. No,
If
you don't.
If Green Lantern's costume looked like Batman's costume in this new movie, it'd have been a totally different movie, I think. Tonally,
It's
for
true.
sure. It would have just felt like I understand his mask manifests itself and his suit manifests. I get that's what they were trying to do.
Well, I mean, that's what
It
happens.
just didn't.
But
But it just didn't make it manifest itself in CG and then let him be in a real suit.
well, yeah, because technically in the comics, that's what happens. Like, I mean, he just manifests the suit, but it's a suit. It's not like
the transition's
glows.
fine.
It glows green when he's flying and stuff, and he's using that as his flight because he's powering the ring to put himself in a thing that floats, and then. But it's like they're just like, look, just go all CG on everything all the time. Does that sound good? Like that, the actor that we got, replace him with a CG character.
Yeah, it's just it didn't. It felt like you couldn't take it seriously because it felt like a cartoon.
Although I thought the Kilowog looked good.
I mean, but he was all CG, so it made sense.
Right. Yeah.
But like, so maybe that's why they couldn't do it, because they couldn't make like 500 different kinds of Green Lantern suits to fit fish and fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why they did it CG, but just make those guys CG or whatever. Just, but when Ryan Reynolds is on Earth, don't make him look like he's way out of place. Like, where did you come from? He looks like Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It looks like he shouldn't really be there, but he is, and we're supposed to believe he's there.
Right.
It's just, it was a little off.
I know what you mean. I just try to defend that movie a little bit because I think it gets shit on way harder than it should.
And maybe that's true, but I don't know.
But then again, I'm also the guy who's going to sit here and just shit all over Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man because I thought he was terrible.
Yeah, so it's 6 1, half dozen the other.
I know. It's just fun to argue, right?
Yeah.
Opinions are there for a reason. Anyway,
So-
okay, so Spider-Man is in Civil War.
Spider-Man Civil War looks pretty cool. We'll go see it, and we'll do a spoiler cast, like the one we're about to do for
10 Cloverfield Lane.
So we just came back from 10 Cloverfield Lane.
We had a nice dinner at Red Robin.
Yum. It was good. I had the double ghost
I
tavern
had
burger.
the big ghost.
Yeah, the big ghost.
It's just fun to say, hey, bring me a big ghost.
Give me a big ghost.
They came back with one of those Ghostbusters ghosts. I was like, get that shit out of here.
So we're going full on spoilers in this.
Yeah, because I feel like
You can't talk about it without ruining something.
You can't talk about it without ruining something. Also, I think that people from the name, Nick, we talked about this. They know what's happening. They know what's going to happen. It's
and
not like
we'll talk about that in how we feel after we get everything out. But spoiler.
So
Spoiler.
it starts out. The movie starts out. It's kind of cool. I like the way they started it. It's just music and everything that's happening in the background is silent.
Yep.
And it's Ramona Flowers, so I'm into it because I love Scott Pilgrim. It's really Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I'm also in love with because, I mean, have you seen her? But so it starts off with her. Clearly something's wrong. She's like crying and frantically throwing stuff together. And then that happens. Spoiler alert. She's taking off her engagement ring and she's leaving.
She's out. She's bailing.
Not on a jet plane, in a car.
So she gets to a gas station. Her fiance tries to call her. Are we going to play-by-play of this movie? Might as well, right?
Right. I mean, it's just like, and we'll stop and talk along the way, but just a quick, like, hey, this is what happens,
So she kind of looks offhand at the gas station.
Yep.
And there's a big truck there, and she's kind of like...
She's like, that's a little creepy, right? This looks like a murder truck.
There you go. Looks like a murder truck. So she gets on the road and starts heading off.
And surprise, it was a murder truck.
It was a murder truck. Well, we don't know that till later.
Well,
We
it
guessed
was a
it.
murder truck.
The
problem with this movie is it's pretty predictable, right?
It is. And
It's
I
like-
think...
She looks at the truck and's like, oh no, something bad's going to happen. Something happens.
Well, here's the thing. It was predictable, and then at some parts, to me, it wasn't.
Sure.
It was like, oh, yeah, this is going to happen. But then, wait. It's like, oh, John Goodman's fucking crazy. But is he?
He is. But
He is crazy. Is
He is.
He is. He's really crazy. But
Okay.
yeah.
So back to her. So she gets knocked off the road. She's like tumbling. Her car does some tumbles.
Credits.
That's it. Movie's over. No.
No, the
that's
opening credits.
Yeah, that's the opening credits. So then she wakes up, and surprise, surprise, she's changed somewhere in like a brick room and doesn't know what's happening. So my problem here, because I gotta get it out there, I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's Ramona Flowers. She will forever be Ramona Flowers. Is she fucking MacGyver in this movie? Because anytime anything's happening, she is so prepared and makes shit out of everything.
But maybe she's just smart.
But she also is like never panicked when she tells a story of, I'm always panicked and I never do the right thing. Then all of a sudden she does all the right things all the time. It's like,
But again, that was more because that was something she had gone through. So maybe she has grown since that moment. Because she talks about a kid getting abused by her father.
and how she
Essentially
didn't do
stored.
anything.
And she was going to do something.
And that
because
used to happen to her apparently as a kid.
But maybe that was her turning point. Maybe that was the point where she was like, you know what? I'm not going to take it from
But
boys
I don't think
anymore.
it was, because the turning point's at the end when she sees the sign and she can either keep running or do something. And she's never done that before because she's always ran. Right?
But okay.
Isn't that kind of the point?
Then that's I'll buy that. But maybe going through all that made her, because she had no choice.
But again, it's like it's not that she.
What
went
did she
through
really
it.
do
It's-
though?
Okay, hold on. First of all, she's like, oh no, I'm trapped. I can't do anything. Let's get back to that real quick. It's like, I'm trapped. I can't do anything. I can't get this knee brace that looks like I should be able to unlace it and just slip my leg right through it. But anyway, that's the point. But
Locked.
she's got that on there. She's locked to a thing on the side of the wall, whatever. She's like, oh shit, what's happening? She tries to get her clothes. She immediately is like, oh no, an IV's in me. Let me knock it over, grab the thing, take the bag off, and use that as a pole to pull stuff over. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll buy that because it actually took her a second to do that. But then John Goodman shows up, like, I'm crazy. You need fluids because you've been in a wreck and I saved you. He's like, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Here's crutches. Learn to use them. So she's like, oh, crutches. It's been like 2 seconds. I'm going to take this thing off. I'm going to shiv it, make it into a pole. I'm going to set the thing on fire to make him come in here, and then I'm going to stab him.
Well, she stood there for a while holding it, waiting for him to come back, and then she realized he wouldn't come back. So she said, how do I get him to go in there? She sees the vent, smokes him out.
I know. It just seems like, because it.
Did you want her to spend more time thinking about it?
No, I felt like she was, like I said, she was always prepared and always did something when her character just said, like, has said a couple times, like, this isn't me, I don't do that, but she's always there. And we're not even getting into the craziest shit that she does. That's just the beginning. So anyway, what happens next? She John Goodman like comes in and is like, hey, don't fucking attack me, you stupid bitch. Basically. Yeah. And then he knocks her out with a syringe, right?
Yep.
And so she lays down on the ground. No, not on the ground, on a mattress that's on the ground. Because her room is fucking bare bones.
Yeah, she got a mattress in there and that's it.
It's not great. It's not great. Then she wakes up and she thinks she hears a car above her.
Then she meets Emmett.
Oh yeah. We should say that John Goodman's given her the spiel already of like, hey, you can't go up there. I'm saving you because the air, you can't breathe it, and we could have to be down here for years.
So essentially, like, John Goodman was so good.
He was awesome. He's always good though, I think. I don't think there's been
super good.
The only thing he was in that might not be great is We're Back. Dinosaur Story.
It's amazing.
Because we just watched the trailer for that a minute ago because we were like, hey, John Goodman was in that. Whew! That story.
It's an old movie, though.
It's old, but it's like, what the fuck is happening with the story in that? We'll get
wish granting bubbles.
We'll talk about that later. Oh God. Anyway,
but anyway,
go ahead, Nick. What happens next?
So she meets Emmett.
She meets Emmett. Oh yeah, he crashed some shit over, right?
Like, yeah, he crashed some shit over, and John Goodman kind of walks out there, and it sounds like he beats the shit
out of him.
But again, what this movie did for me was like, okay, this is happening. I can see what he's doing there. I can see what he's doing there. Oh wait, that's not actually true. And he backpedaled a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it goes, oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's doing this. Nope, that's not right. You backpedal a little bit. So that's kind of what happened. You kind of thought he beat the shit out of him, and later you find out he didn't.
Yeah.
You find out that Emmett actually helped him build the shelter.
Helped him build it, and he ran in there, and he hurt himself trying to get in.
So, yeah, Emmett's not supposed to be there. And then John Goodman's talking about his daughter, saying she's not around, and spoiler alert, she's not there. So,
okay, let's talk about this part real quick. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's listening to all this spiel. She doesn't believe him. Doesn't believe him. She attacks him with a bottle.
Let's get to let's talk about that table part, because I like that part a lot. This is another reason where she was really smart, because she saw Emmett was making jokes. Emmett was just like, "Oh, Monopoly, we can almost finish a game in the 2 years
because it'll take forever." Ha ha ha! Monopoly takes a long time to play.
Yeah,
that's
the joke. That's the joke. Monopoly takes a long time to play.
All right.
Anyway, so she sees John Goodman. He's just like clenching his fists.
He can't handle it.
He's like
Shut the
he's
fuck
super
up.
annoyed. And then that's because I think at that point we found out that he wasn't supposed to be there.
No, we didn't know that for sure yet.
Yeah. Well, so you could tell John Goodman didn't like him.
Yeah, and he was constantly like, anytime he would look at Mary Elizabeth Winstead or make any contact with her, he was like,
yeah, no touching.
What the fuck?
No touching was the rule and all that other stuff. So she picks up on this and she starts kind of flirting with the guy, right?
with him,
yeah,
and kind of making the jokes, just to talk, just to be like, hey, fucking, let me take your attention and make you really, because for some reason he did not want anyone talking at that table. He's like,
he was
enjoy
like,
your meal and shut the fuck up.
Be respectful.
I can't do any John Goodman impressions.
Nobody can.
So
only John Goodman.
Only
can
John
do
Goodman can be John Goodman.
But anyway, he got super pissed, which was awesome. It was kind of fucking scary when because you thought he would just yell, but he literally got up and was like
in her face, like,
yeah,
great. Like, he did a great job of being fucking terrifying,
fucking bananas. Yeah.
But
so she snatches his keys, smacks him with a bottle, and runs upstairs.
Right. Again, I just want to point out, it seems like a lot. She's fucking really good at this to have always ran away from confrontation.
Well, she's trying to. Maybe she's always trying to find a way to get out. Why can't she just be MacGyver's daughter? Why don't you just pretend she's MacGyver's daughter?
And I'm not saying this, please, because we stressed this earlier. Not because she's a girl. I'm not like, oh, she's a girl, she can't be good. If it was a dude, I'd be like, how? If he was that character, if he was like, oh man, I've always been scared of confrontation, and I don't really like whenever fucking. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just saying, no one should be that smart immediately if they're just like a clothes designer or.
But you don't know her background. That's kind of what the Cloverfield movies were.
I guess, man.
You don't know people. You don't know what's really going on. So,
she might be an alien. It's weird.
But she gets up to the door, and you kind of see in the trailer. So I thought you were going to see a monster.
That's what I thought.
You know, you would see something kind of creeping out there or whatever, but then you just see a car and a woman pull out with a fucked up face.
And it's real fucked up.
Yeah, it looks like kind of got burnt.
And she's going a little bit crazy.
She's like, let me in, blah, blah, blah. And John Goodman's like, no!
Never let her in.
Yeah. So anyway, she ends up just dying, I guess. Or she ends up
bashes her brains against the goddamn window.
But she ends up in the shed at the end. So she must.
Yeah, but I mean, she's like sitting there like, let me in, like bashing her head against it, and it was really that part was pretty creepy, just because.
But then she was like, what was it? It only touched me a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's when we kind of knew it was little more than the disease John Goodman thought it was.
Right.
Which it turned out to kind of be.
Yeah, sort of. So I should mention that he shows her these pigs before we get to the woman, right?
Yeah, the dead pigs.
He's kind of like, look what happened to them.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Holy shit. And then, but she's like, he could have done that just to kind of fucking throw me off, right? And he also sees, or she sees, I should say, that his truck has red paint where she can tell, and she thinks about it and she's like, oh, that's the truck that knocked me off the fucking road.
Yeah.
So,
suspicions
arise. Then we get to the part, she does the bottle, tries to get out. Woman hits whatever.
So she says, and then after that, John Goodman said the greatest line in the movie. What'd he say? I'm usually a very calm person.
He's like, oh, as you can tell, I'm usually a pretty rational person.
Yeah, that's it. And at that point, he had already like snapped like 7 times, and
But then
21
he does the thing where he's like,
he confesses.
like, I'm the one who knocked you off the road. I was trying to get back here because I heard something had happened, and then I felt bad, so I brought you in. And she's like, and she just saw that. He confesses. It seems completely like he seemed upset. Like, I'm sorry that I did it, and but then she's like, I guess I'm here.
Yeah. So cut to a montage sequence of doing puzzles and hanging out
and her being like drawing like funny clothes on people in magazines,
playing board games and having dinner, and
everybody's having a good time.
Suggests that time has passed a little bit.
Right.
What triggered it? What triggered like? Oh, the air purifier went off.
Air purifier goes off.
Okay, so the air purifier goes off. So she's the only one who can crawl through. So she crawls through, turns the air purifier back on. Crawls through a vent, by the way. She's the only one who can fit. Because John Goodman is John Goodman, and the other guy's arm was not in good shape from I still feel like John Goodman fucked him up a little bit.
Probably.
Although
he said that he fought him because he was trying to keep him out.
Yeah. So she gets into this little room, and she turns the generator back on. The air fixes itself, and
she's like, "Yeah, I did it. Awesome."
And she looks up.
Yeah, she kind of like does that look up thing of like, "Oh, air feels nice," because like it had been hot or something when she was in the air vents.
And she sees a hatch.
Thereof air vents, and she sees a hatch when she looks up.
She crawls up there. She's looking at the sky, and all of a sudden she sees
what looks like scratches.
So she pulls the door to, and it's written "help" with a little bit of blood. So she's like, "Uh-oh, that's not good." So she crawls down the ladder, and she finds it's like an earring on the ground that's covered in blood, and she's like, "Uh-oh, shit." So she goes back, and earlier John Goodman had showed her a picture
of his daughter.
In
quotations.
What was her name? Melissa?
Megan was her name.
And he kept calling her his daughter, his daughter, his daughter. She loves Paris, and pictures of here's some of her clothes because she's not here. And John Goodman basically said her mother turned her against me, and she's not here. She's in Chicago.
Right.
So she pulls Emmett aside and
like, hey, he's fucking lying to us.
Something's going on. He's not telling the truth because this is his earring, and that's his daughter. What happened to his daughter?
So
Emmett says
she pulls Emmett's like, look, here's his daughter. She finds that she gets the picture back out, shows the picture, and he's like, that's not his daughter. That's a girl I went to school with named Brittany something. I think it was like Brittany Baldwin or something.
Yeah, who just went missing.
Who went missing 2 years ago.
Uh-oh, plot thickens.
It's like, oh shit.
So he's lying to somebody.
And she has the earring. It's the same one as the one in the picture.
So, and then they find a picture of...
This is what happens. They hear him coming, so they rush to put the picture back in, and another picture drops out.
And it's
who is it?
John Goodman and the
John
girl
Goodman and
in the
girl.
picture.
Right.
Wearing the clothes that she's now wearing.
She's wearing, and they're like, oh, fuck.
So, Emmett grew up there, by the way. He grew up in the small town. He grew up in a small
town.
So, he knew her, and that's kind of how they discovered that. And so they hatch a plan.
They're going to get his gun.
They're going to get his gun, and they're going
to go outside.
Yep, and she's going to build a
hazmat suit, basically, out of a fucking
shower
curtain and Coke bottles.
And it worked.
And duct tape.
So, yeah. So she builds her, they plan to build herself a
hazmat. She's fucking MacGyver.
MacGyver's daughter. So she plans on, they plan on doing this, getting her gun.
So there's there's another montage, basically.
Yeah,
of them like sneaking around, being like, "Ooh, look at us! We're sneaky and we're making shit,
collecting stuff." And so, at one point, they're all just hanging out, and John Goodman says,
"They're playing a game." There were some brilliant comedy beats in the midst of this, like, because it was honestly pretty like tense.
It was tense, yeah, because you didn't. Well, John Goodman did such a good job of making you not sure
whether or not he was a good guy or a bad
guy, or just nuts, or just lonely, or just crazy. Like he was all over the map in a good way.
Yeah.
So you kind of had a hard time buying who he really was.
So they're playing, what game? Is it like Password?
Yeah, Password.
Like that? No, that's not it, right? Or is that it?
It was password.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, so he's like, Emmett does one, and it's Little Women, and so he goes tiny, and he's like small, little, and then he's like,
He was good. He was
little.
good at the tiny part because he just kept naming them. And then
he goes,
says her.
He goes, what was her name again in the movie? Fuck, I forgot. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Okay, so he says Ramona. Michelle was her name.
And said, he just points at her.
He points at her and goes, Michelle is and then he goes, girl.
Little girl.
He just stammers.
He kept
forever.
saying girl, which was a little creepy,
right?
And a little kind of telling of like.
And then, but he also, because he said something besides just girl, right? Oh, he said kid,
yeah,
and child,
yeah.
And so
imply that John Goodman
super creepy,
and
so he's like, no, it was woman, and it's like he's like, well, you should have been more specific or something like that.
He was very deadpan mean.
And then so then it's his turn, and this is the part that's really funny but also tense at the same time.
Yeah,
because he gets apparently, I don't know what the card was that he pulled. Well, it was like
what? Don't tell him what the card is. He kept going. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I know when you're being bad.
And then
it kept getting more and more, and he kept getting, because he's so mean and aggressive, the way he said it kept sounding like he was accusing them.
And so she
hears him say,
happening.
I know when you're good and I know when you're bad. And so
Emmett's already started almost spilling it because he's like, I don't know what you've been seeing or what you think, but and so she just yells out, Santa Claus,
and that diffused the situation. But it doesn't. We can't do it justice, honestly, because of what it was. And
it wasn't even Santa Claus. It's somebody. It's a name that I don't.
Oh yeah, it was somebody else.
Emmett Devnikov or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was some random name, but
so anyway, it's like super tense, but also kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I said, like
it was pretty good at that.
So they're like, oh, we should be more careful, blah blah blah. So it goes on some more, just kind of them hanging out and trying to make the suit. And then
John Goodman says, come help me with something. And
he pulls out fucking Breaking Bad Walter White tub of acid.
Yeah, he has a tub of acid tucked underneath this thing. So he says this kind of gets rid of all our
junk and
and stuff and our problems. And he pulls out the scissors.
The scissors
and stuff that they're using to cut.
The box cutter and
yeah.
And he's basically just, what have you been using this for? What is this? Why are you? And then Emmett is like,
basically takes the blame.
Yeah, he looks at her and he's just like, it was all me. She had nothing to do with it.
And he did something really smart because he said it was all her. Wasn't, I was trying to build a weapon because he had sort of a superiority complex.
Right.
Like John Goodman wanted to be the king of the bunker.
Yeah.
So he basically said to her, like, I wanted her to respect me as much as she respects you. So covered for her even more, but also kind of tried to cover himself. And then she starts to panic a little bit and goes...
And he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you're sorry?
It's okay.
And he goes, I forgive you. And then he immediately pulls his gun and
blows his brains out. Yeah. So Emmett's gone. So she's like, fuck, there's nothing she can do. Because then John Goodman started saying, it's just you and me now, the way it's supposed to be.
And then he shaved his beard. And he's dressing all nice. And super, fucking creepy as hell. But it was so well done.
Yeah. And so she decides she's got to finish this. She's got to go. And
so she finishes the suit completely.
Yep. She's ready to go.
He's coming down and she hastily puts it away under her bed where she's been storing it the whole time. Then she can't get the mask under there, so she throws it up into the air vent.
And the air vent, he comes in, he kind of looking around, then the screw off the air vent falls.
And she quickly is like, oh, it keeps doing that. I don't know why.
So he doesn't find it, thankfully, but then
he turns around and he's looking at her and says, well, why is it loose? And then he looks down and sees a tad bit of the fucking hazmat suit under the mattress.
Yep. And so Jig is up. She freaks out, hits him, right?
Yeah.
And then locks him in. And then she runs.
She managed to get her stuff together.
She grabbed all her stuff, bolted out, and locked him in. Then finally, she made it to his room, right? Yeah, she made it to his room.
To get the
Is she
Kool-Aid.
she
This is
sees
another part that we totally left out was for a reason earlier he had shown her
how to use
use cold compressed air to cool a drink, and he said we used to do this all the time.
the bus locks.
Well, to knock the handle off of my CO because he was in the Navy for 14 years or whatever. He's like, whenever my CO was being a dick, we would do that and knock it off, and it'd take him an hour or 2 hours to get out of the bathroom just to kind of fuck with him.
So we forgot to mention John Goodman this whole time is huge conspiracy theory guy.
Right.
Like he believes the world's ending, and then he's mentioning tactics that people are going to take and all this other stuff. So that's why, like, we probably forgot to mention that earlier on, but it's kind of important, but not really. You just kind of got to know John Goodman's crazy.
He's just fucking nuts.
And so she gets her stuff. She gets the can of compressed air.
She
Kind of a creepy bit where she sees a half dissolved Emmett in a tiny tub.
Yeah, super creepy.
He was like burnt, and he's in a way smaller tub than a human could fit in because he was melted piece by piece.
When she sees him there, he rushes out. He got out of the door, and he's like,
"This is how you repay me for all."
This is how you repay me for me being. This is how you show gratitude. Blah, blah, blah. And she goes, "No, this is how." And she kicks the acid over,
spills, and then
it knocks him into it, and he's just getting fucking burnt.
Yeah, Two-Face style.
And so she again,
but it was awesome because it burnt the carpet so fast, and it
Yeah.
burnt this perfect circle in the carpet. So she jumps over him, crawls through the vent, and half-burned psychopath John Goodman's stabbing a knife
which
into
is
the vent.
fucking so tense, man.
It was like, is he gonna hit her? Is he gonna nick her? Blah blah blah.
And he's like, and he's looking through the vents, and half his face is burnt off, and like,
And then she's crawling up this little angle, and he grabs a hold of her hand, or grabs a hold of her leg, and just starts kicking the shit out of it, and then eventually just snaps because his arm was half melted, so his arm just kind of fell apart. And so she actually gets out.
She gets up to the where the air or where that hatch was.
Yep.
She puts on her hazmat suit real quick. She duct tapes it off, and then she takes her compressed air and sprays the lock that she saw.
Which is a tense moment because the lock wouldn't break. And you're
Right.
like, oh shit, is John Goodman going to make it up here?
So she keeps spraying it, and she finally just fucking hits it for, 10 times, 10, 20 times, and it finally breaks.
Also, the bunker's on fire.
Oh, yeah, it's on fire from where she knocked over it hit the cord, fried the cord, and then it went up in flames.
Yeah. So
bunker's
about to go.
She finally gets the door open. She comes out. She's like, it's daytime, or it's right at dusk, maybe.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's in the sun. Everything seems all right. She's still freaked out because of the air. She goes to the truck, tries to get in there to find the keys, rips her fucking hazmat suit, which is just a shower curtain.
She panics a little bit, tapes it up.
Everything.
But then she just has a realization that, like, what's really going on?
She sees birds flying around.
She sees birds flying around.
She's like, well, if they're all right, why wouldn't I be?
So she takes her mask off and everything's fine. Or is it? Just drops the mask.
Because it's motherfucking Cloverfield, bitches.
So this is where we got into the discussion that we wish they would have called it something else.
Just completely something else.
Call it something completely. You could have sold that movie. I would have gone and seen it if it was called something else. It would have looked cool.
Because it looked awesome.
But if you would have called it something else, you would have been like, holy shit, John Goodman was right.
You would have put it together in your head that... So basically what John Goodman says at one point, and this is kind of important, is he says, well, if it's military tactics. He goes, you hit the big populated areas first,
and then ground troops
come in and try to knock out
sweep
the area of the rest. And he goes, and so you realize, like, that's what Cloverfield was. The first Cloverfield, the big monsters,
atomic bombs.
They were the atomic bombs that destroyed the big cities.
Yes.
And so in this one, now we've got new alien monsters that are flying, and they do gas. They're basically dropping nuclear, or not nuclear, but
so yeah, she sees
napalm, and
she sees a ship in the distance, and something just goes, and you're like, uh-oh. And what'd she say? You got to be kidding me, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, she said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" Like she couldn't believe that it was real.
Almost like this is fucking real. Are you seriously?
Yeah.
Like seriously? You know?
So we're just gonna finish recapping the whole movie because we're almost done.
We might as well.
And so she fucking runs, hides in this little dog-looking thing. You didn't really see it very clearly.
Yeah.
But he looked cool. He was like a quadruped, and looked like he had little spikes, but his face kind of came
His
out.
face came out, and then it was like an eye, but then it became a mouth.
Yeah,
like,
so it the car alarm starts going off. That's what draws it toward.
Yeah.
The bunker exploding drew it towards him.
yeah, that's why it dropped in the first place.
Yeah, and then she tries to escape. Car alarm goes off, and then she hides. Finds the woman that was beating her head in the garage.
She's
dead.
dead.
She has the keys.
She needs the keys though.
Yeah, so she rifles through her keys, but she sees this dog thing kind of like lifting up the car and ripping it about.
So she grabs the keys. She's making enough noise it makes its way over there, and she can see it through the thing.
Yeah.
And so when she gets the keys, she click, and it makes the alarm go off, like it stops, and then the thing turns to go towards it, and she bolts.
She bolts. She heads towards the house because she sees lights on.
There's lights on in the house, which we assume is John Goodman's house.
Yeah.
Like his actual house.
So she's waving.
Like, I'm out here, help me.
And then the ship
Just fucking
comes up from
crests
behind.
over. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it starts dropping what looks like gas.
And so she fucking bolts because she knows I need my mask because this is what's been causing that fucking problem.
So she slaps her mask on real
Fucking
fast.
duct tapes.
Duct tapes it up, and then gets in the truck. And then after that clears, dog thing comes busting through, puts his face on the mask, and then the teeth come out and grip it, and then just rip the mask right off her face, which was a very cool effect.
Yeah.
Whoop, it was gone. How did she get rid of him?
Well, it wasn't. The ship came back around and caught her. Remember, it picked the truck
Oh,
up.
yeah, okay.
And now here she comes MacGyver again. Get ready. She's raising up into basically, I guess, a big mouth type thing, right?
Yeah, well, the ship was organic.
It was an organic ship. I get that, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like it looked like a big mouth. That was just
Yeah,
like
but you didn't know
opening.
that until, like the end when that was happening, because
Yeah.
the things came down. You were like, oh, wait, so it's not a ship
It's basically a big flying creature.
with armor. Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of like starts pulling her up, and there's this mouse. So she decides what? Molotov cocktail?
She had the alcohol that they didn't find at the crash is in the back of the fucking truck, and she's like, "Oh my god, fucking in my head. Let me put this together. If I do this, no. Oh, luckily there's a Zippo lighter here." So she's got that. She pulls out a magazine, rips a page out, puts it down in there, lights it up, rolls the window down, and just waits for the mouth to open. It opens. She throws it in there, and it explodes and. But it kills the whole thing because the gas, I guess, because the gas inside, right?
Yeah.
So it ignites it and it blows up.
She drops to the
She
ground.
drops. Truck hits the ground. She gets out, goes to the other car, and now she's free, basically.
Yeah, she's driving off, and as she's driving off, she hears the radio.
It's actually picking something up.
It's actually picking something up and saying, "So and so, head north of Baton Rouge if
If you-
you're in need of assistance,
Yeah. But if you want to help,
or if you have experience,
go
combat
east
experience."
to Houston. And so she's like,
She makes her decision.
she makes her decision. The decision that she could never make except for all the times that she's made it. Is that I
So
need to go help.
So she goes and helps.
So she
And-
turns left to Houston and goes and help. And Houston must be super close to where they were because you could see the whole city in the background and fucking things attacking. But
Yeah. So as she's leaving, she knocks over the mailbox, and the mailbox says 10 Cloverfield.
yeah,
So here's where I think they should have just called it something else, and then that would have been the reveal. Because even if you didn't sell a lot of tickets, right?
right.
Like, you didn't sell a lot of tickets the first weekend because everybody know what the people who saw it would be like, oh my god.
You could have called the movie like Roadside Assistance. I mean, just something
Yeah.
like dumb like that.
You could have called it John Goodman is awesome, and people would have been like, oh yeah, he is awesome. I'll go see that
John
movie.
Goodman is pretty awesome. I guess I'll go see that movie.
But yeah, and if that would have been the reveal, it would have been a lot like, for me anyway, Cabin in the Woods. When the big
Wow.
reveal at the end of Cabin in the Woods, because they never showed that in the trailer, they never mentioned that, like the whole massacre montage of all the evil creatures. It was something that people were just like, just go see it, and then you'll see the ending. And I can't say a word because it ruins the whole movie. Because it did, in a way, you knew it was Cloverfield, so you knew, well, John Goodman wasn't actually crazy.
I mean,
there was something.
He was crazy.
He was crazy,
but he wasn't crazy.
But the thing that happens, the thing that happened that I liked what they did was, maybe that's why they did it, because John Goodman was evil, but at that moment he was a good guy.
Right.
He wasn't really saving her because he had plans to do shit to her, obviously.
Well, was that it though, or was it that he just wanted her as like a daughter? Because I didn't get it as he was gonna do creepy things to her. I got it as like he literally just wanted her to be his daughter.
Maybe.
And maybe I was wrong, but that's what it came off as. Like, maybe he actually lost his daughter, and that's why he was taking them to be like, you're going to be my daughter because I miss my daughter or something. I don't know.
It's all in the ether a little bit of what his true intentions were.
Right.
I thought the fact that he shaved and dressed up was a little telling.
I mean, maybe.
That maybe he was kind of...
Maybe. I don't know. I try to see the best in John Goodman.
I know you do, but the fact that he cleaned himself up, it, to me, was an attempt to woo her a little bit, at least in some regard.
Yeah,
maybe it was just to
nothing woos a woman like fucking taking her by force.
But all in all, I liked it. I
loved it. I thought it was a good movie.
It was super. It was tense. It was very small, but it was effective.
Yeah.
That
movie. I wonder how much money that movie cost. I mean, because
it couldn't cost a lot.
In all honesty, the only time you need CG is at the very end.
Yeah,
and
it was take place in a bunker.
It was like what, maybe 5 minutes of CG stuff. So
yeah, not a lot, but it was good. And apparently, there's going to be more. So
I'm into that.
There was a cool shot at the end where she was going towards Houston and the lightning was going, and you could see more ships.
Yeah, in the sky. That was really neat.
So yeah, it was. I liked it. It was, like I said, John Goodman sold it for me. He was just.
I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be the new Ripley in this Cloverfield franchise because she's wearing a white beater. She's got the haircut.
I mean, that's probably kind of the imagery you're going for, right?
It's got to be.
You know, Ripley was kind of smart in those movies.
Yeah.
She didn't have any. Let me just say this before we wrap up. Ripley didn't have any tactical or military anything.
Neither did she.
Aliens too. She was like, nope. You guys, you're just doing it all wrong. Everybody's doing it all wrong. So it's the same thing. Maybe it's kind of the same context as like, because she goes to save Newt and she like
it's trial by fire.
Yeah, puts the fucking gun together and flamethrower, but she also smart enough to strap the little locator on there, so she's dropping flares so she can find her way back. It's like she wasn't trained to do that. She just like you said, trial by fire, so she kind of just went with it.
I know. It's not even really that big a deal. It just makes me laugh whenever like I think the part that made me laugh the most is, like I said, she makes that big like deal about how she's never like able to do anything, and she always avoids the confrontation, and then it's like every chance she gets in the like she's like confrontation.
There was a lot of quiet moments in that movie,
but it was
little
cool.
Speeches.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It works because all three of them did a really good job, and all their little speeches ended up playing into the end.
Yeah.
So like all of John Goodman's little we gave you the entire plot of the movie, but you still should see it because those little moments. Obviously, you don't see it before you listen to this. The three people who listen to this.
Craig,
don't see this. Don't listen to this before you see the movie because it's super good.
Even though we're saying this at the end, and Nate's
I'll write it in the blurb.
Okay.
Don't see this movie because we probably
don't see this movie. That's what you just said.
See the movie. It's super good.
Don't listen to the podcast. I mean, listen to the podcast. Don't listen to it until
it's. We can get back to that. It's kind of like recalling. It's like recalling any TV show. You name the major bits, but there's little things. There's little conversations in between.
It's very Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Or
Game of Thrones, because there's the big moments in Game of Thrones, but there's also the tiny conversations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with Breaking Bad, it was like, oh, you got to see when Walt does this to Gus and blah. But it's like you have to see all the moments they talk to each other. There's that tension, that incredible, like that truly incredible acting that makes you think, wow, like this is what it. And it may sound silly because it's just some sci-fi movie, but it's really well done. I mean, John Goodman again is outstanding.
He went from to maybe he's all right to to
maybe he's all right.
Maybe he's all right to he's okay.
Oh God,
Jesus Christ, holy shit! John Goodman's insane, but he did so good because I don't know, until there was the big reveal of the fact that the girl was missing, you kind of were like, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You were on the fence. Maybe he's just got poor people skills and he doesn't. But
he again, the way he portrayed it, there's so many comedy moments in him being like super creepy.
Yeah.
Like even when he's just like, when he said that thing where he's like, I'm usually a pretty rational person, as you can tell, or whatever. It's like,
yeah. And he said it with a straight face. And I think he has a very Kanye West mentality. Like he thinks he is rational.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what makes people crazy. is they think what they're thinking is the correct way.
So the only thing I think that could have made this movie better was if it was all documented on film by T.J. Miller.
He was dead by this point.
Listen, T.J. Miller needs to be in everything. I've told you this. He could have been Emmett. It would have been fun. Maybe that's his twin brother Emmett.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
I guess we are.
Yeah. So thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
So a little factoid.
2 tombstones up. How about that?
2 tombstones.
Is that how we're gonna rate movies now?
So a little factoid, like this was one of the first trailers we talked about in the first podcast we ever did.
That's true.
So
And now we've seen the movie,
so that's kind of fun.
and we enjoyed it. We loved it. Go
We did.
check it out.
And we'll see you next time.
Until next time.
Till next time. That's a little more sophisticated. So we're about to wrap up here. Visit us at plastictombstonestudios.com.
Hey, follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Plastic Tombstone. TMBSTONE. Goddamn letters.
It should be on the screen right now. At Core Train to follow Corey. At Calvin Cat Feet, follow me. Like and subscribe us on YouTube because we need them likes.
So until next time, go enjoy the CW. They just renewed every DC show. Thanks for listening. Also, go follow TJ Miller.